As far as I know. Oh, really? Is that an awkward slash?
No, it isn't. He wants to say it's a right formal.
Yeah.
So he knows all about training, so he's able to go through everything that happens.
Yes. I'll start that tomorrow and get it.
Signs that need to be replaced. He's going to work on paint machine bids for me.
Oh, this is helpful.
Whatever happened to the other cast
Mayor Segrist.
Present.
Vice Mayor Harden.
Present.
Commissioner Carlisle.
Here.
Commissioner Martinez.
Here.
Commissioner Warren.
Here.
We have a quorum, Your Honor.
Thank you. Will you join me in a pledge of allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Father God, we just thank you for the opportunity tonight to handle business. Though this commission handles the business for the city of Liberal, we understand that everything under heaven is your business. So God, we ask for your wisdom to make decisions for your community here that will glorify you and that will progress us to the point where you desire us to be. Not where any one individual or group wants to be, but God, where you want to be. Then we know it's true and it's accurate and it is not failing. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
very much. We have no awards, proclamations, or presentations. We'll move on to the approval of the agenda, and we need to remove item 16 from the agenda. Could I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to amend the agenda to remove item 16.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Harden and a second by Commissioner Carlisle to remove item 16 from the agenda. All in favor? Motion carries. 5-0. The next item is to approve the minutes for May 4, special meeting May 22nd, regular meeting May 23rd, special meeting May 31st, and special meeting June 5th. We can do this all in one motion. Just make a motion to approve all the minutes, please.
Make a motion to approve all the minutes.
Okay.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Do we have items from citizens? Frank?
Good evening.
Hello there. How are you?
Hello again. I came here with a hallelujah speech thinking that we got the grant, but evidently it did not come through. And so I came here to see what you or we are going to do next. I was told that when this thing started, that whatever happened, you know, something was going to get done with this water problem. And that's the reason why I'm here, to see what we are going to get done. I have started by contacting the Red Cross and different organizations. I've been asking for sandbags. So if we do get another major rain like that maybe I can curtail some of that from going on my property with the sandbags. So, and sandbags are not that plentiful in this country. I hate to tell you this, but you know, we have a lot of sun, but we don't have the rain when we need it. And so I've been asking for sandbags. So if you would keep me informed on what I can do to help you guys, you know, I'd appreciate that. And, or if I can help you. But this is my speech for tonight.
Okay, I think our city manager has a response here.
Yes, I do. And not getting the grant was a setback. The key reason we didn't get the grant was one of the requirements was we needed to give them our maintenance records on our drainage system for the last 10 years. Which on behalf of the city, I have to apologize because we all know the previous administration built ball fields and everything else and didn't have the street department keep up with their streets and drainage maintenance program. As of this week, they will have a minimum of 2 people cleaning out drainage ditches and drainage tubes. And we will be keeping a record. They're doing it right now in a spiral notebook. When they get done with this week, I will help them set up a spreadsheet so that we can have an actual automated document that in the future, should anybody request for our maintenance records, we will have them. The only real setback is we're not getting a grant is going to be as far as acquiring property and building new ponds. But we can actually make the existing ponds we have bigger. One of the issues that we are looking at when making Frog Pond bigger is when we redo Second Street, we will tap into that channel and run that water, some of that water down to the bigger Frog Pond so that it can be a detention pond till such time can keep up, and then we can pump it in. The other thing is the retention pond over behind Andrade's Auto Sales. There is another piece of property there that we own that we can make a bigger pond there. And so then we're looking at redoing the force main boring under the railroad tracks and running that to Frog Pond instead of dumping it out on Kansas, which then runs down Virginia and 2nd Street and floods everything there. As far as your area, Frank, we're still looking at that pond down there at 5th Street. You know, what do we own? What can we do to make it bigger with basically in-house expense? Of course, we'll have our labor costs. We pay those guys. All county, state employees basically are hired for operations and maintenance and not construction. And that's the direction the city is going now, is to get back into maintenance and operations business instead of construction. So we're not really looking at any extraordinary expense. Obviously, putting concrete pans or even putting rock aprons that we would have to purchase. Losing the grant put a huge damper on it. But we are addressing the drainage issue, and it's going to be a time-consuming process because we're going to have to do it all in-house. I can't hire outside contractors because we don't have the money to do that. But it is being addressed. It started on this week. And Chewy is supposed to give me the list every Monday so I can start that, so we'll have a record. And you know, you're welcome to walk in my office anytime and we will give you the information of where we're at and what we're trying to do.
Okay, let me ask you this. I don't have a piece of paper saying I can operate a machine. I've only been on them for 70 years. Is there any way you need my help? Hey, I would be willing to run some of your equipment if I can.
And that's one that I would have, that would be a commission decision, but we'd also have to clear it with our insurance carrier on whether or not we could let a volunteer run our equipment and be okay. So I'm going to have to take the fifth and say, hey, I don't have an honest answer for that right now.
But
I'll tell you what though, I greatly appreciate your attitude towards it and your positivity and helpfulness. So, I mean, if there's any opportunity that we can get something like that cleared with the insurance company or anything else that we can figure out, a way that you can assist, we'd be more than happy to accept that, so thank you for
Okay,
your attitude.
I can accept that.
Yeah.
And, you check, because like I said, I have been running equipment all my life.
Absolutely.
And, there is a possibility I could run yours.
Yeah, we can definitely check into it.
We got a lot of backhoes with no motor on it, though.
If you mean shovel. You see this ass? It fits in the seat real nice. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you, Frank.
Appreciate it. Any other, yes?
Ready to see the-
Johnny Wisdom, Kansas. Another matter that is concerned with this flooding issue is the stormwater getting into the sanitary sewers and flooding basements. We have, I pointed out, I sent a message out to some of you all on April 23rd, and I took one by one particular manhole cover that has 6 holes on top of it. That manhole cover was underwater during that flood. And there's also another just like that at the corner of 2nd Street and Prospect. I would like to, well, there's other issues. I mean, you have those holes that create a breach, which is a serious problem, because that's how you get people's basements flooded with sewer, which is worse than rainwater. Believe me, I know. And there could be other problems with that, like the gasket and other leakage within those systems that needs to be checked out. But I think that what I want to tell you guys tonight is to try to expedite the replacement of those manhole covers, the sealed ones, and probably you take all the way sealed, because I know you need a vent on the one in the alley along behind 2nd Street and between 3rd Street. I think you could probably put in a vent next to it, that'd be up above where any kind of flooding would get to it. You actually put a sealed manhole cover there. As far as Prospect, you could break that down from 6 holes to 1, small, and open it up and bend. I think that'll be substantial as far as keeping the stormwater out of the sewage system, which causes horrible damage to people's basements when that backs up into them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
And on the sewer, if I can address that real quick, we are aware of that. Of course, manhole lid, those seal lids are cost to them. But one of the key issues we have right now is with needing the new plant. Actually, my line cleaning crew, my entire field crew is in the plant just trying to keep that thing running. And so it's more important that everybody right now, in our opinion, everybody can flush their toilet and drain their bathtub. But we are aware of the manholes, and for most people don't realize the reason they came out originally with those holes in them is because sewers create gas, especially H2S. Well, everybody knows gas goes to the top. That was their escape. Well, in the past few years, we've discovered that those manholes create an I&I problem, inflow and infiltration within the sewer system, and anytime you get a big rain, you overload your sanitary sewer plant. So that is an issue that's being addressed nationwide on reducing I&I on all sewer systems. And we're aware of it, and we're working at it. It just, right now I'm going to add 3 additional staff to the wastewater plant after the first year, so that we can have a crew back out in the field cleaning lines and attending to these manholes. So they will be addressed as soon as we can make it happen.
I think it's very, very important, because to expedite this and get it done as quickly as possible, because you're in a season now where you can't have a flood, and this type of damage, sewer damage to people's basements, it's a health hazard, it's a terrible thing people have to go through. It should be one of your top priorities to create sealed manhole covers to prevent that type of thing from happening, especially when you know that you have 2 of them, like the one at Prospect and 2nd, and the other one over there at 2nd Street, between 3rd Street and Northern by Clay, behind in that alley, which is actually underwater. It has 6 holes on top, which is far too many, more than you need for many.
Oh, well, we're well aware of that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, and it does need to be expedited, but we can't put manhole lids ahead of keeping the plant running. Because when the plant doesn't run, it's gonna be coming in your basements and everywhere else. So we've got to figure out where our priorities is, and it is on the top priority list. But number one is keeping that antique plant running.
Well, I think you can probably do both at the same time.
And we'll try
It's
to.
that much of a, it's that much of a priority situation where somehow or another, you need to address that and do it quickly, and I think you can keep them both running at the same time. You know, plant running, and that whole covers taking care of.
Thank you, Tony, we need to move on. Do we have any other comments? Rita, please come forward.
Ms. Rita.
Good evening.
Rita Isaacs, 406 Princeton, Miss Mayor, Vice Mayor, Councilman. 3 weeks ago, I was here about roads and schools, signs. Since then, one other person has died on our highways. So I'm back to this again. Before I came again, I went around to the same signs and went to Garden City yesterday, and the difference on the roads and the care and the safety is just so much better than, I don't know why we can't get it. I came down Pine Street when it's going on to Country Estates, and 1 block away before you get there, the stop sign is blocked by a sign that says left lane up for left must turn. So that's blocked. And right across the road, in this little green and white sign, it says Highway 83, and then Road J, but it's on the left side. Instead of being up where the person's driving, your eye's gonna follow that way. So I went all the way down Country Estates again. When you get to that 5 point, there are 3 little signs, little black and white signs, and Highway 54 has this little arrow, and that's where you got. There's nothing coming down that way. Needs to be the green signs with that white where you can see it. So we went clear across there again. Again, you come to 8th, 15th, Tucker. I see why that lady had that wreck coming off Tucker. When you get up to there after your little curve, she got the sign, but it looks like a big, beautiful highway just continuing right across. And you're right there on these sharp curves. We got a lot of curves over there. You still need your blinking lights. You need your big green and white signs telling what is coming on. You're flashing yellow over there at Tucker or where you turn in by the hotels. By IHOP and Old Chicago, what we call them the little cheap signs. You've got stop signs with the little blinking lights, and then over there 7. How come you can have them there, and you can't have them on the major thoroughfares? It needs it there. Now, going back to the school signs again. I don't see anything's been done on that. Why can't you have on Western, where there's no school, have your blinking yellow, if you want to keep that up, and then on South Holly, on that one, why don't you have a blinking red? Because you're still having to do all your stops, and you've got a thorough traffic there. You don't have school. But my main deal is the safety coming off of Highway 83. It is not marked, it is not safe, and I'm sorry, you just got one more death that needs to be taken care of. And I want to know who's designing the streets. I know when they block up Main Street, going out on Highway 3, you got to, I can see why for some of that. But who is coming up? I'm going to use Wendy's as an example. The first time I went there, I drove right on in that one off of Highway 54, and then I was starting in a turn a couple days later, and it was blocked. And thank goodness no cars were coming. Who designed this? Who approved that Wendy's could go there and did not make sure that we had access that was safe? And why would these 2 young boys why did they have access to the old Bluebell Road? Why wasn't that shut off before that? So who's designing our roads and who's approving them? and who's inspecting them. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, the Wendy's fiasco, that is an issue between KDOT and Wendy's. And the city has no part of that. We're not, that's strictly between
Does
Wendy's.
anybody ever question anything? Is KDOT, I mean, did they just have an open sesame to everything?
Well,
Surely somebody, and when they blocked off of Blue Belt, surely somebody caught the danger of having it like that.
that one is still up in the air. That one, because of the accident, we will not discuss it at this time.
Well, can anybody question them when they're, is there a way to find out if somebody's really paying attention?
Well, like I said, the deal with KDOT and Wendy's.
What about you city people? Because our streets are coming on to the highways. Somebody has to say, man, this is
Okay, at the last joint meeting we had with USD, it is discussed, we are, Kevin, you're on that board, right? Traffic, okay, we are going to get together on the traffic board, put together a meeting, and we need to evaluate a lot of things. There are a lot of things with signs around here that, I mean, even trees have grown in and out, so, I mean, technically, you have to be able to see a stop sign from 100 feet. I mean, we know there's some issues,
Yeah.
but we've got to do the traffic study. I have to know where everything is in order to tell people so we can get a plan to go fix a lot of this stuff.
Thank you, Rita.
Thank you, Rita.
Anyone else? Tony's already spoken. Anyone else?
Just speak on something again. I think since,
Why don't you come up to the?
yeah. Since it appears at this time that the city's going to put off addressing these manhole covers to next year, I think that the city needs to buy liability insurance to cover sewer backup for these homes, because I believe the city has created a liability for itself on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Tony.
Anyone else? We'll move on to, Al Shank. Item 5.
Mayor Seacrest, Commissioners, I'm glad to be here this evening. I'm representing Al Shank Insurance and Employers Mutual Casualty as your insurance carrier. As you know, by being an insured of Employers Mutual, you're part of their Kansas Municipal Safety Group program. That makes you eligible for dividends when that group has a good loss year. Then you're eligible for dividends. About 60% of the communities in Kansas are insured through this program. Last year was another good year for the program. In fact, the city of Louisville has gotten dividend checks. This will be the 12th year in a row as a member of Employers Mutual's Kansas Safety Group. So all I'm here to do tonight is to drop off this year's dividend check for $96,352.06. And over the last 12 years, the city has received dividends in the amount of $712,088.32. So that's a full year's premium plus that you've been able to save over that span with the dividend program. So Mayor Seacrest, I'd be glad to give this check to you. I'd be glad to give it to Chris. I don't know about some of those guys up there. Give me some direction.
Well, I think Chris is closer there, and he'll be the one that gets it in the end, so Chris, please.
All right, we appreciate the chance to work with you.
Here we go.
And anything we can do to help you, give us a call. We appreciate it.
I would appreciate it.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you guys as well.
We'll move on to item 6, the consent agenda. Could I have a motion to approve all the items on the consent agenda? We don't have to do them just individually, just approve.
They'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, A and B.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Martinez, second by Commissioner Harmon, to approve the consent agenda items A and B. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. The next Item is number 7, a special assessment project. On item A, we are having a public hearing for the purpose of learning about the adoption of ordinance number 4500. And I now declare the public hearing officially open. Have the proper legal notices been given?
Yes, they have, Your Honor.
Thank you. I invite members of the staff to testify on the matter before the commission.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm filling in on this item. Wanted to address this item tonight and give you a brief background. In the past, the Commission did approve a couple of resolutions to authorize special assessments up in the North Liberal project area to extend Centennial Boulevard and the water and sanitary sewer into the area. And then at the last meeting, the Commission adopted the first reading of ordinance 4500 dealing with special assessments to a second reading. And so tonight, to discuss this item, we have Mr. Larry Kleeman, who is with Ransom Financial Group.
Thank you, Chris.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. As you recall, last month when we were here, we're preparing to bond finance street water and sewer improvements. And in this case, instead of the city at large paying the debt service payments under the bonds, the individual benefiting property owners will be paying the debt service, and we call those special assessments. And we levy those each year as part of property taxes, as an extra property tax, so to speak. And state law, though, requires before you levy those, you have to go through a little process, which we're doing here tonight. Started, step one was last month when we reviewed the special assessment, proposed special assessments, and mailed out a notice notifying those property owners that there's a hearing tonight, right now. And now step two, property owners can give their thoughts and comments on the proposed special assessments. And then after the hearing is closed, there's the special assessment ordinance, which you can adopt to officially levy those assessments. Then once again, a notice will go out. Property owners can actually prepay that assessment if they want by June 28th, in which case we'll lower the bond by that amount. Typically they don't, and in that case, we will then levy the assessments each year for the life of the bonds, so we'll collect the amount needed to pay the debt service on the bonds over that. If you have any questions on the numbers or the special assessment ordinance, let me know. Otherwise, I'll let you continue with the hearing.
Thanks, sir.
I invite anyone to testify in support of this matter. Are there any questions from commission or staff regarding this? I invite anyone else who wishes to testify or comment on this matter to come forward. Being no further comments, I declare the public hearing closed.
Make a motion we approve ordinance number 4500.
We have a motion by Commissioner Carlisle, second by Commissioner Martinez to approve ordinance number 4500. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Item number 8 is Black Hills Energy franchise information. We have Dennis Robot and Monique Pope. Welcome.
Good evening. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, everyone. As Mayor Segrist mentioned, my name is Monique Pope with Black Hills Energy and my colleague Dennis Schwargar. We're here as a follow-on from a meeting, workshop that we all provided a couple weeks ago, and in regards to several proposed methodologies to consider. And so we're here to answer any questions, or if you would like us to, we understand that there's a 15-slide PowerPoint. We a lot of data, but we also wanted to share that Fran Reinhardt, fellow employee that works in sales tax, was the mastermind behind the data, so a big shout out to her. So in terms of the data, if there's any particular questions, or if you want us to walk through the various slides that are in the PowerPoint, we can do that.
Are we voting on the franchise agreement tonight?
I believe we were going to provide, well, for the previous meeting, we were going to provide data on the various proposed rates for consideration. So if you all had a chance to review and know which route you'd like to take, I know we will have to publish a notice of public record in the Liberal Leader and Times first before the franchise agreement was voted on. But we're here to answer any questions with regards to the PowerPoint slides and the different proposed methodologies in terms of the 5% gross receipts that we discussed, along with the information on the 2 cents per therm, 3 cents, 3.5 cents, and then 4 cents a therm on the various customer classes.
I think I was personally leaning towards the 5% and the 4 cent though.
I was too, I like that. 5% gross receipt. 4% on the transfer.
That's one that got us about where we're at now, is that correct?
That's the 4 cent on that.
And again, a big thanks to Fran for running those numbers to estimate that approach would be close to what was being collected.
I guess my question is there a consensus on the council, at least a majority consensus, that is the route we want to go, so we can let these people know they can get the franchise fee free?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll support that.
Okay. Everybody raise your hand if they can.
5%, 5% gross.
5% for.
Thank you guys.
That was easy,
for
wasn't it?
work on that. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, and now public grounds. Welcome, Brad.
Mayor, Commissioners, a couple weeks ago, a few of you had an opportunity to come out to the ball fields. We had a demonstration for a ball field utility machine. And so you guys kind of know what we're looking at. It's a utility machine that we can get our fields like they need to be. But we can also use it for aerating parts in the fall and the winter time when we're not using it at the ball fields. It's got a laser grade system on it. And it's going to help with the safety and playability of the fields. So we're requesting permission to purchase this machine. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
The price is $27,111.30, is that right?
Correct.
Make a motion to purchase the ADI 4.0 lawn turf machine from ADI Attachments. Price of $27,911.30.
Motion by Commissioner Carlisle, second by Commissioner Martinez, to purchase of the ABI force zero turn turf machine in the amount of $27,911.30 from ABI. Any discussion? All in favor?
I just want to say that it looks like it was a lot of labor saving.
It'll save a lot of labor.
But Harvard, when we brought it out.
Where we're using 2 or 3 guys to haul equipment around, everything's contained in this one machine. I'm not gonna say we're gonna cut staff, but it's gonna make it a lot, it's gonna make it a lot easier to take care of 12 ball fields.
The playing conditions will be better because of
Correct.
I don't know what all we did after I left, he was gonna put a different attachment on.
Yeah, he put a couple of different attachments on it, and with this price, we get every attachment, including the laser grade, which at some point, if we do a long stretch of sidewalk, we can use this to get that to grade too. So, I mean, it's got multi-purposes that we can use it for. It's not just gonna be for ball fields. In the summertime, it'll be strictly ball fields, but.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Oh,
Oh, just a point of clarification, as I understand it, this is to be purchased as a quality of life, not as a street drainage capital improvements.
Yes,
Yeah.
and this wasn't part of what I approached, folks with about our ball fields, and was very explicitly told that was the intent for 1 cent sales tax, was ball fields and quality of life for our kids.
Yeah. I mean, this thing is artificial intelligence short of being able to do the job itself, so that definitely stays above and beyond.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say that, I mean, just from my side, because I know several of the commission and the city is interested in us putting on more tournaments. This machine will definitely make it easier for us to maintain fields during tournaments and cut down time, because at some point when you're doing it the way we've done it in the past, you kind of, well, let's not do it this game, but this would make it where you could actually get on a field and get off quickly and keep the condition of the field in shape instead of putting it off because of the time it takes.
okay, you have another item for us,
I
right?
do.
I don't think we voted on it.
the vote.
We voted on it, I just don't think it was announced.
We voted 5-0.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, my second item is we're requesting for you to approve the purchase of a 5-foot, 3-point land plane for the cemetery. Last year, we bought a new tractor, and this will retrofit that tractor. We've gotta have something to do our roads with. Right now, we use a drag. You can't get a motor grader in there because you can't turn the corners. We plan on using this all the time. I mean, our roads, everything gets pushed out to the sides. We'll continually work these and get them back to the middle. And at some point, I hate to say this, commissioners, we're gonna have to do something with our cemetery roads. They're just, this is a step forward to get us where we need to be, to get them built up.
What fund does this come out of?
This will come out of the cemetery perpetual fund, so it doesn't hit the taxpayers.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of a Frontier 3-point land plane for the amount of $1,390 from Keating Tractor and Equipment.
Second.
We have a motion to approve a Frontier 5-foot, 3-point land plane. Motion by Commissioner Hardin, second by Commissioner Warren. Any discussion? Oh, from Keating, I'm sorry, from Keating Tractor for $1,390. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Gray. Next item is number 10. Item A, self-help housing. Karen.
Good evening, Karen.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. At the last meeting, there was a discussion of the self-help housing program. The agenda item has some notes here showing that we have built 68 homes, or we have 5 under construction right now. We've been doing the program for 11 years. The city on this grant, we were awarded $317,000 to complete 18 homes. If we don't complete the last 5 houses, the remaining $88,055 would be obligated. We don't get the money in advance. We are drawing the funds as we spend them every quarter. So the last paragraph sums up that if it takes 6 to 7 months, then we would spend in essence $173,746, and we would draw down to the rest of the funds to meet the $228,945. So there are no penalties for getting it short. We do have 5 applicants, but we haven't sent their funds or their applications to USDA at this point.
That's for the houses you're building now.
The houses we're building right now are already sold. So there's 5 more after those, and those would be the ones that we would submit applications for if we would keep the program going.
So what do we need there? Do we need a motion to continue with the last 5, or? You just
Is that kind of what
update
we're looking for, Karen? It is whether we're gonna finish this or not?
I was under the impression that you wanted the information on the program, and we're going to decide if we were going to continue the program or not.
I think this would be a good opportunity for us to just discontinue the self-help housing and not build the additional 5 homes.
Now, on the 5 homes, yeah, not the additional 5, but the 5 we're working on now, go ahead and finish
Finish
those.
the 5 that are
You gotta finish those.
are built, and those have been sold, but the other 5, the applications have not even been sent in yet.
But there is some people that were interested in these lots.
There are.
I'm with Mayor Segrist on that. That, you know, we need to finish the 5 we have, but I would also like to see the self-help housing program as a whole go ahead and come to a halt after those 5 before we continue and finish those next 5 that we have people signed up. Do we need a motion?
Motion to discontinue, stop the self-housing program.
I will make a motion to discontinue the self-help housing program.
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
I will be abstaining.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed? We have, 3 votes for, 1 vote against, and 1 abstention, so the motion carries. We'll discontinue the self-help. Thank you. The next item is the first-time home buyers program.
We are out of funds in the first-time home buyer program, and I'm requesting that the commission approve reallocation of funds in the amount of $40,000 from the builder incentive line item and that to the first-time home buyer program.
Okay, where's the money gonna come from?
It'll come from the builder incentive line item, from the housing.
It's my understanding from Chris that if we take the 40,000 out of the 135,000 in the builder's incentive line item, then that'll leave us with 95,000 in that. Is that correct?
There's
The
one-
builder's incentive program.
There's 160,000 in the builder incentive.
So it was yes, it was 160 total. We've done 5 incentives year to date, so that leaves us with a remaining budget balance of 135,000 of the builder's incentive. And if we reallocate 40,000, that'll leave us $95,000 remaining in the builder's incentive line, which at $5,000 per incentive would equate to 19 additional homes. The other thing about that too is if, I'm hoping we have the problem where we need to address what to do beyond the 19 homes. If that point should come, then we can either look elsewhere within the housing budget, or if we need to, we can look at amending the housing budget.
Well, I think the way our housing situation is, and
Oh, I love the first-time home buyer program. I would actually like down the line to see more funds get put in so we can expand the range of it more. So I'm definitely in favor of that. I'll make a motion that we reallocate the funds in the amount of $40,000 from the building incentive line item to the first-time home buyer program.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Harden, second by Commissioner Carlisle, to allocate the 40,000 from the builder incentive line item to the first-time home buyer program. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Karen.
Next item is Earl's Engineering.
Okay. I'm
I've got to take the black eye on this one. Somehow, we discussed the Pine Street thing and what Earl's had court and everything. We discussed it, but we never actually approved the contract. And then on the Second Street project, somehow we discussed that, but we inadvertently approved the water line project twice on Earl's instead of one on street and one on water line. So all we're doing is housekeeping to approve these two contracts for the street design for Second Street and Pine Street. We are still negotiating with contractors on Pine Street for how we're gonna do that curve. And we did run into kind of a problem because our right-of-way does not have a curve. Our right-of-way is a 90-degree turn on Pine Street, for those of you that didn't know that. So we are gonna have to do some housekeeping as far as even on that intersection, because I'm pretty sure we don't wanna run down there and make a 90-degree turn.
Yeah, I'm an old man,
And it's
curve's been there since day one.
Yeah, but when we researched the right-of-way, it is a 90-degree right-of-way. So we're gonna have to do some housekeeping there before we can start.
That was in the county a long time ago, Jack. But it's been a curve.
It's always been a curve.
So we need to approve the engineering plans for Pine Street project, is that correct?
Fine and second, yes.
I'll make the motion, we approve the Earl Engineering inspection for Pine Street and Second Street project.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Commissioner Martinez, second by Commissioner Harden, to approve the Earl's engineering and inspection for Pine Street project and Second Street project. Any discussion?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am,
This is-
because it's a two-part, we've got to do a motion for A and B.
Oh, okay.
My fault.
Okay.
I want to discuss A and B. We're just approving his contract for that,
Yeah,
but not approving the work.
right, because we've got to get it all drawn up and you go out and get bid before we can approve the work.
And this is coming out streets and drainage, is that correct?
Correct.
I'm not too sure for a year we need to quit on the streets and, spend the money on the drainage.
Well, the only problem is we need to do Second Street to fix the drainage on Second Street. And that curve on Pine Street, by the time they finish cleaning 54, isn't gonna be much left.
Okay, we need a separate motion to,
Okay, I'll make the motion for the first A for Pine Street project.
the motion by Commissioner Martinez, second,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Harden, to approve the Earl's engineering and inspection, for Pine Street project. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Now, moving on to Second Street.
And I'll make the motion for the Second Street project of Earl's Engineering and inspection.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Martinez, someone second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Harden, to approve the Second Street project, engineering plan by Earl's Engineering and Inspection. Any discussion? All in favor? Carries 5-0. Okay, the next item is papers.
Mayor, Commissioners, my name is Sheena Schreck, I'm the Director of Human Resources. The City of Liberal currently uses ICMA-RC as our designated 457 deferred comp program. This plan has been in place since March of 1993 as a voluntary benefit available to city employees. Employees may choose to have an amount withheld from their paycheck to save for retirement in addition to our mandatory papers and KP&F pension plans. In 2017, a new fiduciary rule took effect. These rules require financial and investment advisors to give advice that is in the best interest of the retirement investors. ICMA-RC has stated they are making no changes to their services on the basis that their services are structured as education rather than advisory. Both federal and state laws indicate that someone must accept those responsibilities. With ICMA-RC's position, it falls upon the city. In addition, city staff has had many customer service performance issues with ICMA-RC.
At this point, I want to stop and introduce Representative Lynn Lehman. He's from Capers 457. He's going to walk you through some fund reviews that we currently have before we move forward with the recommendation. So I'll turn this over to Lynn.
Welcome.
Great, thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, everybody. Thanks for having me. Gina just wanted me to explain a little bit. Commissioner Martinez, I don't know if you remember, we spoke the League of Kansas Municipalities. I don't think it was last fall, I think it was the fall before that.
Yeah.
Or it was at that point. But you have your Capers pension, right? And when I say Capers, I'm including KP&F as well. I know they're different, but just for purposes of discussion. You have your Capers pension. That's mandatory. If you want to contribute additional dollars to your retirement, you have to do that. Right now, you currently do that through another provider. We're here to talk about Capers 457. Just like you compare medical benefits every once in a while, I want you to kind of take a look at retirement benefits and why we think Capers 457 is a better fit. As Sheena said, there may be some service issues. This used to be something that was a little bit more of a luxury. With the advent of Capers 3, and I don't expect you all to memorize eligibility for Capers, but starting January 1 of 2015, there was a different Capers eligibility class for Capers, not KP&F, but for Capers added, called Capers 3. If you're hired before, you're either Capers 1 or 2. After January 1 of 2015, you're Capers 3. And basically what that means, all things being equal, salary and tenure, your Capers 3 pension is probably going to be a little bit lower. So what used to be a luxury is now kind of more of a necessity. So I know you have a lot of information in front of you. I just want to briefly recap these fund performances. You should have 2 fund performances in front of you. The first one that I want you to look at says City of Liberal on it, I believe. And really, I just want to take you, and you can obviously look at this, but on page 4, it just goes through, this is a fund analysis. And it doesn't compare the fund, our plan, against your current plan. It compares them against the benchmark. So this is a fact-driven analysis, just like you know in sports, wins and losses, right? You can't really dispute it. It's the facts that are just put in a table form. So really, if a fund meets the criteria, it has to have consecutive quarters of 7 of the last 12 quarters passing the benchmark to get a green light. If it's had that for less than 7 of the last 12 quarters, it's going to get a failing grade. And the same way above there with the rankings. So if you look at page 5, and you should be looking at the one that says American funds, excuse me, Fidelity Diversified International, so I'm on page 5. DT Vantage Point International, Harbor International. So you can go by there, and the overall rating, you can see the yellows, the grays, and the greens, right? So that's your current provider. If you take your other one that's going to say Capers 457 plan, I believe it says Prospect on it. If you look to page 5, I hope you see a brighter color, right? You should be seeing more green in the second analysis. So this is just kind of a little bit of the analysis supporting what Gina and HR would like to do in addition to, Capers 457 is the state of Kansas plan. In addition, more than 350 different cities, counties, and other kinds of government units attach themselves to the plan. So you're kind of surrounded, right? Hugoton, Stevens County, Grant County, Finney County, Garden City, Ford County, Dodge City, all utilize Capers 457. It was just kind of, with Commissioner Martinez a year or a year and a half ago, and just in our conversations determined that it might be a good fit to at least explore pursuing Capers 457.
What's the employees think?
To be honest with you,
That's part of our customer service issue. We cannot get a representative from ICMA to come out here. They say it's too far. And Lynn has told me that we can have a representative out here quarterly to talk to employees, because we only have about 12 active employees in the plant.
Now, do you think that's because of the fact that the other company we're working with is not reaching out, not making themselves available?
Yeah, we give them information upon new hire, and we can sign up anytime, but they just have no one to teach them about the plant.
Absolutely.
So, I'd like to see more. We only have, I'd say it's about $1 million in assets there at ICMA.
Yeah, I
And
seen
we're
your
up.
booth.
Oh.
I was gonna say, I seen your booth when we was up there for the league. I didn't stand in there, it's different from what the city was.
But
So
if
you
the
told me.
commission wants us to move forward, really, we just work hand in hand with Lynn and his staff. Employees who are active participants in it will not see a change. They'll just have a blackout day of about a week, right? When there's a transition over. So instead of accessing their funds on ICMA's website, they'll access it on a new website. Contributions still come through their paychecks and leave.
But everything will seamlessly transfer over for them.
Similar to like if you were in, a
Yeah.
bank, it gets.
12 people on it?
What's that?
You have 12 people on this?
About 12.
I'll find 7 to say yes, and I'll go for it. I don't want to change it, and I know nothing about it, we'll be upset. Is that fair?
By looking at the numbers, it looks like it's a better deal.
I agree with that, but we're talking about employees' money, but I think they ought to be the one to decide whether they want to do this or not.
I just can't get any information from ICMA.
I understand it.
Cal and Sheena, from talking to your employees, especially the ones that are participating with paper, or with your, let me pull it back up, that are participating with your Capers 3 plan, have they expressed interest when you brought this up about moving it over, that they were positive interest, they want to?
Again, we don't have a lot of participation to sign up for ICMA. So upon new hire, it's mandatory that they sign up for Capers. So that automatic 6% is going in out of their check into Capers. We tell them it's kind of a three-legged stool that you have to have a personal savings, you're going to have Capers, and then you hope that Social Security is going to be there as well. Again, people just are not signing up for it. We'd like to get someone out here to teach them that the Capers is not going to be enough, and you need to start saving now.
Absolutely.
But it's just not a lot of participation. We want to see those numbers go up.
We only have 12, it's not that, I mean, obviously, it's not my concern what people, but it is an HR concern. So you can talk to those 12 people and come back with a positive report, right?
I'll send out, and if they have no response, what do you want me to do?
I'm in favor of it just from looking at the analysis and seeing how much more it benefits the people that participate with it, and then your guys' willingness to actually send out representatives that participate with our staff. So I'm in favor of it where it stands right now.
I too in favor.
I am too. I think it looks so much better.
Well, do we want to go ahead and vote then?
I don't see why we don't.
I'll make a motion to move forward with this.
Tony, would you read down at the bottom?
Okay.
That last paragraph where it says we want to move forward.
Move forward with the ICMA-RC Capers 457 plan and authorize intern city manager and legal counsel to take steps necessary to terminate the city's agreement with ICMA-RC.
Yes, and what we would, the next steps we would bring, the next meeting is a resolution to the commission for review. Of course, we would send it to legal counsel for review as well, but Capers 457, they work with so many communities, and we spoke to some of the communities that have made this transition. But they have all the documents in place for us, so we'll bring that to you for review if you'd like us to move forward.
Perfect. All second Tony's motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Martinez, a second by Commissioner Harden to do the ICMA-RC to the Capers 457 plan and authorize the interim city manager and legal counsel to take the steps necessary to terminate the city's agreement with ICMA-RC. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you coming down.
Thank you for coming. Next item is the police chief contract.
I make a motion that to accept the contract between Chief Warmix and the City of Liberal.
I'll second that.
There's a motion by Commissioner Carlisle, second by Commissioner Harden, that we accept the police chief contract between the City of Liberal and Dennis K. Molness. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
Dennis, you want to come up, please?
We now need to install Dennis K. Molness as the city police chief for the City of Liberal, Kansas.
You'll just raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
the laws of the City of Liberal,
the laws of the City of Liberal,
and faithfully discharge the duties of police chief,
and faithfully discharge the duties of police chief of police,
City of Liberal,
City of Liberal,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Dennis.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. We want to thank you for taking the job.
The next item is number 14, discussion of the senior media alcohol sales.
Okay, everybody should have the ordinance in there. If you look on page 3-4, it would be ordinance 3-113. You've all found it. If you look at C under it, says, except as provided in subsection D and E, no cereal malt beverages and liquors may be sold. But then when you go to D and E, it specifically spells out in E, number 2, the holidays is Decoration, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, Thanksgiving Day, and Christmas Day. And our city attorney will correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe under the new statutes where they allow Sunday sales, the only 2 holidays that are restricted are Easter Sunday and probably, I think it's Christmas. The key issue is everybody is driving to Oklahoma or Kismet to buy their beer on Sundays or even on the 4th of July. And what we need to know as staff is, do you want us to look at revising this ordinance so they can at least sell cereal malt beverages at the convenience stores in Walmart and Dillon's on these particular holidays?
Mr. Burke, if I can interject, I did do some legal research on this issue. There's an Attorney General opinion 2006-2, which basically states that you cannot separate the two. It's either you're doing it for cereal malt beverages and liquor as well, or you're going to keep it the same for both, so you can't pick and choose the two. If there's a
You're talking
consensus
about
on
2 different types of alcohol, 2 different types of licenses.
That's correct, I am.
Same kind of inebriation. So.
And the Attorney General pretty much has those say. So I guess what I'm asking now is, do you want us to look at revising the ordinance so that they can sell on these holidays? And do you want us to research the possibility of doing Sunday sales?
So this would make it to where not only Walmart, Dillon's, all those places can sell their beer on those holidays, but also the liquor stores are allowed to be fully open and fully operational on those holidays as well.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what the Attorney General opinion tells us.
So are we going with the Attorney General or are we going with the
Well, I would say that the Attorney General Lynn's law degrees far out exceeds mine.
I would say if we're going to change the ordinance, that we make it a universal ordinance that affects both the liquor stores and the larger liquor providers in the superstores.
I think you have to do it. If you're gonna, you have to do it.
Yeah.
And I could work.
Yeah, you can talk.
Yeah, you can. I was gonna say, if there's a consensus kind of on the council, I can meet with Cal and with Kevin, and we can get together and kind of give some ideas together.
Good evening.
Right.
How are you?
Well, I'm going to cause all this. I'm Tammy King. Thank you. What we're talking about is cereal malt beverage, which is a 3.2. We have always been able to sell it on Memorial Day, 4th of July, Thanksgiving, Christmas. We cannot sell it on Sundays. But you can drive to Moscow, you can drive to Plains, you can drive to Tyrone, to Turpin, and buy it, okay? So why are we letting ourselves go to Oklahoma or to the other places when we can be making it? I particularly don't care if we sell it on Sunday. I want the holidays. But we are not talking about the liquor stores. According to Alcohol Beverage Control, it is legal for us to sell cereal malt beverage on the holidays. It is not legal for the liquor stores to be open because they are a 6 point. And if you read that article right there, it says that. And so that's what I'm trying to clear up. I don't want to make the liquor stores open. That's how I make my money. You know, I sell $600 to $1,000 when the holidays are here. And then they come in. I've been in the business for 16 years, and then they come in on Memorial Day, 5 o'clock, you can't sell it. What? You know, and then when I want to talk to somebody, oh, it's a holiday, you can't talk to them. You know, and so that's what I'm trying to clear up, because they're reading it wrong.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Actually,
And I don't know about the Attorney General thing. I just know, I talked to Alcohol Beverage Control, and I looked up the ordinance and everything, and ours is what's saying it's not legal.
right. that's-
City is.
Yeah, it's a city ordinance, and you are correct, and that's what we're trying to find out. How does the commission want us to rework this ordinance to make everybody happy?
Yeah, but we don't want to open the liquor stores.
Well, I mean,
First of all, I
Not
don't think
just
the liquor
because
store
of
want to be
me.
open.
The thing of it is state law says that they cannot be open. That is the state law. So what we're talking about is city law,
Okay.
okay? And
So-
that's a big difference.
So we don't go with the Attorney General on that because it's state law that we can't have
Well,
liquor stores open.
I think the state attorney general overrides.
Yeah, and I
the
haven't gone
ABC.
that far.
Yeah, the state attorney general's opinion always exceeds ABC,
Yeah,
and I've been in that industry for a lot of years, so.
and I understand that. But I would like to get something solved before the 4th of July.
Well, so would we. And I mean, the thing is, we.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'd like to move. Yeah, but when the ABC walks in and gives you a fine, they don't care what the attorney general says.
That's right.
Well, actually, ABC won't walk in because it's a state law, so they're not gonna enforce a city ordinance. Only we can enforce our city ordinance.
Okay, I'm in full support of it. I just need to know what we're talking about. Are we still talking about all the superstores, convenience stores, and liquor stores? Or are we just talking about now just
Well,
convenience
I
stores?
mean, here's the thing, it's just like on Christmas Day. Nobody makes Walmart, Dillon's, anybody be open. You know, so if you want to run a liquor store and you want to be open on those days, it should be your choice. I mean, nobody, you know, it's like, hey, Burger King and Walgreens does look real good on Christmas Day because they're the only ones open.
Yeah, turn the Bible belt, that ain't gonna happen.
I can read specifically what it says, so everybody's on board. It says cities and counties can expand the days of sale pursuant to KSA 41-2911. They must include both retail liquor stores and stores that sell C and D. Maybe perhaps you could deem that to be liquor stores can be open and only sell cereal malt beverages. I don't know the answer to that.
Liquor stores don't sell CM.
Yeah, they are.
Right, so the language in that tells me that you have to have them both open according to the Attorney General. And that you cannot expand one type of sales without the other.
You're basically creating an unfair playing field.
I think that's just behind it.
I'm also being told that convenience stores can sell stronger beer now than 3.2.
No, that's in a year, isn't it?
That's going, that'll be going into effect.
Yeah.
Well, I think we need to get out of the dark ages and quit living in the sales tax to around.
That's my main thought is how much sales tax money, are we losing? We don't even have an idea across the state line into all the other communities that have Sunday liquor sales or have holiday liquor sales and things like that. Just from a purely fiscal standpoint, surely we're losing a pretty fair amount of money.
Well, in addition to the sales tax, I'm pretty sure that if I drive one cold beer so bad, I'm gonna drive all the way to Oklahoma, I'm probably gonna drink it on the way back. So we're encouraging drinking and driving. So, I mean, we're increasing Dennis's work. I mean, and I mean, you know, I'm pretty sure if anybody that's gonna want a cold beer is gonna drink and drive, if they have to drive all the way to Oklahoma.
Most time when I went down there, I ran out of beer, so I've probably been drinking.
Yeah.
Just so everybody else knows as well, the ordinance allows or the statute that allows the city to pass this type of ordinance, I quoted earlier, it's 41-2911, and that's section sub B. The other issue is this doesn't take effect until 60 days after it's published in the paper. So even if you guys pass something tonight,
We still won't be able to have anything
no,
for you.
Fourth of July is not gonna happen.
That's what I don't understand. We've been doing it since I was born. We've been selling beer on holidays. And then all of a sudden, we get all these new people, and now we can't sell it because they don't read it right. And it doesn't make sense to me.
And the new people you're talking about are from,
The city, the city.
Actually, we're reading it very correctly. It was just misworded when it was done.
Right.
And I mean, I agree, everybody, I mean, I'm not gonna tell you.
My dad is 83 years old and we've sold beer on the convenience stores, you know?
And I mean, I guess, and I mean, that's
I
kind of,
didn't know when it came up, when it changed. When did it change that we can't sell beer on cereal malt beverage? We're not talking alcohol, we're talking cereal malt beverage. When did that change that we couldn't do that?
I don't, do you have the date on that ordinance, Lisa, when it was? I mean, actually, I think it was probably when, you know, it's probably been there for a long time. Just, it's always, somebody changed, I mean, the wording got changed when it was typed. Or it was a misinterpretation, I don't know what happened, but we're trying to fix it.
Right.
I mean.
And I agree.
And I mean, and be honest, I'm gonna say probably on the 4th of July, Chief Molinex and his people are probably gonna be busy enough, they probably don't have time to drive around and see if you're selling beer. I mean, but bear in mind that if you do, you know, it is the law. But I mean, I'm saying we probably aren't gonna drive around and check because.
Are you saying that it can only be enforced locally, it's not a state law?
Correct. Right.
If we can do it locally, I think we have to.
I'm in favor of looking at opening it up more. That's a lot of money sitting on the table, not only for our local businesses, but for our sales tax pool.
Kevin, I guess you know what you and I are doing in the morning.
Now, on the topic of Sunday sales, you know, I'd be more than happy to see something like that get brought up, and I believe on that one, we're gonna have to actually have like public hearings and be able to allow people.
Our attorney shaking his head no.
Just kidding.
No.
No, that's a 60-day, they can file a petition with so many percent of the voters, and they do that, they can get a public vote.
Yeah, what are we?
I think just direction with Cal and Kevin, and I can work with them too, we can get something together for you guys' review.
My thought is open it up. If anybody appeals it, we can always go back and change it later.
Yeah, and we can always have a discussion about it, you know, after the fact, hear from groups and everybody else.
Because I know a lot of liquor store owners aren't gonna open up on Sundays or holidays.
So we're just going to direct Cal and Kevin and Lynn to work on this for us, okay? Is that agreeable?
Yes.
We'll move on then. Item number 15, airport maintenance funding.
Okay, I have talked to folks, we have a problem with our airport funding. If I pay my airport salaries out of the airport revenue, I don't have money for maintenance, operations and maintenance. What I'm asking really to do is just go ahead and, because one of the key things to economic development is public transportation and air service. And I'm looking to transfer roughly $200,000 over to the operations fund out of the economic development fund, portion of the 1 cent sales tax to cover operations. And we're looking at, and for the time being, that would kind of be of an annual thing, and then the revenue until we get enough flights and everything, we increase enough airport revenue, we can quit that. We're just trying to be open with what we do with 1 cent sales tax.
So you just need the motion to transfer funds, or you?
I don't
No,
know.
it's fine.
I think probably just consensus, but if you want to make a motion, that's even better.
Well, I'll make the motion to transfer the 200,000
Yeah.
out of economic development.
Mm-hmm.
Of 1 cent.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell Jeff. Now he knows.
I'll go for that. I'll second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Martinez, second by Commissioner Carlisle to transfer $200,000 out of economic development 1 cent sales tax to the airport maintenance funding. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
Just real quick, by the way, for the group that came from the convenience store, are we planning on having this reviewed and on next commission meetings agenda so that they can come back and see the results of it?
Yeah, I don't see any reason other than, can we make that happen, Lynn? Kevin and I can, but I don't know about, our legal terms aren't real good.
Well, just so they don't leave empty-handed, since they made the effort of actually coming to a meeting and participating to find out an answer. So, are we thinking next meeting?
I think by next meeting, we'll have a proposed ordinance for the council to review and discuss.
Perfect.
Any
Thank you
of these
guys
should
for
appear
coming.
on the
So at
agenda.
this time, we cannot on July 4th? Is that what they're saying?
No, you need to read between the lines what they said.
Okay.
Anyway, they said
The
the
lines
6th.
They were asking, so.
Is there another meeting between then and now?
Yeah, but we can't make 60 days happen.
Right.
Is it just a simple ordinance though?
It is.
It is.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much for coming.
Okay, the next item is city manager's report.
Well, as usual, I want to thank the staff. It's really been hot out there. You guys have been doing a good job. And with the exception of Lisa, us guys up here can't make it happen. It's the staff that makes the city run. And really appreciate your effort and your support. We'll try and make it cooler out there, but I appreciate it. The other thing I wanted to bring up, if you guys look in your packets, or Alicia gave you some information on that water line insurance. If you guys want to review that and take a look at it, the guy cannot be here for the last meeting this month because he is on tour. He covers from New Jersey to Florida and a straight line up through Kansas. But he could be here for the July 10th meeting if you want to talk to him face to face, but his packet is pretty decent. And basically what it does is it's all voluntary. They handle it. There's no charge to the city at all. And what they do, we would pass a resolution that they would send out on city letterhead basically to the customers that, hey, this is a voluntary thing, this is out there. What the city does gain is they have 3 different plans, one like for water, one for sewer, and they even cover your in-house plumbing. And what the city would gain would be, like, say if Ronnie bought 2 policies, well, we would gain 50% on each one per month. And the purpose of that is to go into a separate fund, because if Ronnie has a water leak, it has a $10,000 water bill, but he comes in and says, hey, here's my repair bill, I fixed it. You typically, when you bring in a repair bill, reduce back to a number. And so this 50-cent fee is designed so that you can offset what you write off. Because a lot of times, some municipalities cannot afford to write, hey, went through the meter, sorry about your luck. And we try not to be that way. So this would give us the benefit of having a fund that would be paid to us. But my question is, do you want to look at this and then we set something up for him to be here July 10th to present it?
I think we should, because, you know, you're talking about, I don't know how many meters or homes or whatever, but that's be up to them.
Yeah, it's strictly voluntary. It's no charge to the city. It's basically no more than Al Shank sending out letters to everybody in town, you know, hey, I've got a good deal on insurance. not to pick on you, but since you were sitting there, it was easy.
That was an easy target, all right?
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I'm definitely in favor of that.
okay. So I will set him up for the first meeting in July, July 10th, and he can go over it.
Did you say we get a rebate on that?
We get 50 cents on every contract. So if you buy water, sewer, and inside, that's $1.50 a month that we get. If I understood correctly, that's why I want to bring him out now. Yep. And that should be about, oh, the other thing that I did put in there, and you guys should all have a map on the Kansas drought situation. And as you can see, Seward County and all of southwest Kansas is considered is in red. We're considered an emergency area. Our guys, the water guys, we've been checking our wells. We've been really trying to stay on top of our water table. So right now we are not in any danger of going into any one of our conservation steps. I would recommend people water at night and try and reduce their watering as much as possible, because it's not looking bright. So if you reduce your water now, it helps save our water table, so in August, you might still be able to water your grass a little bit.
I'd like for you to get hold of the fire department and the county fire department. See if we maybe pop firecrackers inside the city limits. That way, yeah, I know, it's dead right up there.
Talk to Chief on that one.
You know.
Did he not talk to you?
Yeah, he said, you know, whatever, but.
No, he told me 2 other words.
Jack, don't Garden City allow so many days during July, leading up to the 4th of July?
I think we ought to let them pop inside the city, that way they're not going around the country and burning down, especially in this drought.
I'm thinking we should sell them in the city and they pop them outside. No.
I do think we ought to look at that.
We're wasting a lot of time answering firecracker calls.
Yeah.
They're done when the time to get there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in favor of looking into that as well. Just it keeps more people inside of our city limits on the
We're gonna get sales tax from them selling. Yeah? You ain't the fire department.
I do got a wooden roof, so I'm concerned about bottle rockets. Are they still allowed?
I think they're banned in the state of Kansas.
There's an insurance man right here.
I don't know about bottle rockets or firecrackers. That's not my area, Jack.
We're talking about the wood roof.
Oh, I can still get them if you want some.
I mean, if they're outlawed, you know, they're not gonna be popping anyway.
Anything that's outlawed by state statute or any kind of regional laws would stay. And then, you know, I would say during the conversation, if there's anything else we want to outlaw,
I don't think Oklahoma has yet to go to Missouri.
Yeah, Missouri and South Dakota, you can still buy about anything.
Can I get an ordinance on that?
Did you buy anything in?
Do we have an ordinance on that?
We have one. We can look in the books. I know it's not allowed in the city, so, but I can get the information and get with Lynn.
Katie, could you and Kelly get with me in the morning? Well, wait a minute. Do we want to sell beer on the 4th of July if I can go out and light firecrackers? Those two will go together.
Is that all you have, Cal?
Yeah, that's it, unless Jack's got anything else.
The next item is items
Just
from...
man, Chris wants to speak.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Commissioners, I just wanted to make a quick announcement that next week the City of Liberal is going to be hosting the United States Centralized Immigration Service. They're doing an effort down at City Hall. They'll be coming in, I think on Monday, and they'll take appointments Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So just wanted to make everybody aware. We've made some special arrangements for City Hall employees, parking and whatnot. This was an effort that was started several years ago with the Southwest Kansas Coalition of Cities through with great assistance from Cherise, who worked with Senator Roberts' office, who worked with the, I think it's Department of Homeland Security, I believe. But anyway, they got this program now where they do mobile services, and they'll rotate between Liberal, Garden City, and Dodge City kind of throughout the year. This phase in Liberal, they're going to be doing interviews, but the next time they come back, they'll probably be doing the biometrics, which is fingerprinting and photos and whatnot. So just wanted to make that announcement that we're working with them on that.
Awesome.
So Chris and I'll be homeless next week.
Thank you very much, Chris.
You don't even want me to start.
Okay, we'll move on to items from commissioners. I'll start out off. I want to welcome Tractor Supply, a new business that has just opened in town. Good addition to Liberal. And I want to thank everyone who worked on the auction and getting things cleaned up and getting things out of our inventory that we no longer needed. And I want to thank each and every person that works for the city. I appreciate everything you do for us. And our next meeting will be back in our old city chambers.
We're going home.
Yes, we're going home.
Awesome.
Please be sure to come. That's all I have. Tony, do you have something?
I'm gonna say whoever's working on the soccer fields, the grass is treated up real nice. Looking good out there. Appreciate everybody's hard work. Thank you.
I want to thank staff as well, because that is the trend this evening, but you guys are doing a great job. We're getting into the dog days of summer, and I know that it's pretty tough for a lot of the departments that are out there doing manual labor in the heat, so thank you guys very much for all the hard work you do. As far as citizens, I did want to address a couple things that I've been having a lot of groups reach out to me with. I believe it'll probably be next meeting or the meeting after that we'll be discussing the sports vehicles. I know that I still consistently have a lot of people reaching out to me for that. That is basically the legalization and tagging of the sports utility vehicles here in town, like the Raptors, ATVs, stuff like that. So that will be upcoming in the future soon. Rita, I definitely want to get with you, and maybe we need to do a drive around town and look at some of the areas that you're talking about specifically. I would definitely say that there are some of us that question everything, including KDOT. It's just kind of difficult because KDOT has a lot more influence and their word goes a lot farther than ours does. But definitely, I agree with you that we need to look at trying to resolve some of these situations like the driveway at Wendy's, even though that is a private sector company. I appreciate everybody still showing up to the meetings and coming in droves. I hope that once we get back to our old chambers, you guys violate the fire code with us next week and have a full meeting. That'd be fantastic. But other than that, just keep reaching out to your commissioners and representation in the community. Keep staying involved. Chief, welcome officially to the team, and everybody have an excellent week.
When's the next safety meeting for the signs? Maybe Rita would like to attend that.
We've got to find. I know Dennis, help me out here, buddy, on the traffic safety.
I believe it's the first Thursday of the month.
It's the third Thursday. Third Thursday.
Third Thursday. I'll let you know what it is.
It's on a Thursday, okay?
Just show up until you find the right date.
Yeah.
Jack, you have something to say?
Really good. I agree with Connie on everything. Tractor Supply, all that. Dennis, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
City staff, y'all doing a real good job. I think a little bit more water needs to be put on the ball fields though. It looked a little brown today.
It's a new style. It's all dirt.
Oh, is it?
Which ball fields?
Baseball fields.
That's what we call it, gold field.
Ronnie?
Yeah, I haven't looked at that one yet, I guess, because we gotta do some work over there, but, yeah, I guess that's the advantage of going last, everything's already been said, so, yeah, congratulations, Dennis, thank you, staff, I know you're working hard, and it's that time of the year, I know, because I was outside working today, and I was trying to figure out how I was gonna get away from the job early, so, and it kinda helped that I had to go home and clean up for the meeting, so I got out of there a little bit early and said, getting too hot, I guess, but, that's all I got.
You know, I want to thank the police department. You know, we got an email from people on Dallas Ryan and Blake Rogers, is that right? Of how good of a job they did. the attitude in town last couple of months has changed as far as their attitude towards the police department. And that has to do with the attitude of the police department. So, I want to thank them.
Anything else? We'll move on to.
One last thing on your card. I want to thank Frank Friesen because he's came to like every meeting for the last 2 months, even though he's not here anymore. And tonight, I thought it was amazing how he was so willing to be helpful and positive about the situation, even though we didn't have the grant opportunity. So I want to say thank you to Frank and Tony for staying involved. And you know, we'll find a way to get all these problems fixed. It's just going to take time. So I love attitudes like that. It's fantastic. Frank, thank you very much.
Anybody have anything else? Moving on to vouchers. Do I have a motion to approve the vouchers?
I'm making a motion that we approve the vouchers in the amount of $1,202,439.71.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Hart to approve the vouchers in the amount of $1,202,439.71. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. We are adjourned. Thank you for coming, everyone.
Thank you for coming, everyone.